You know, it's always interesting how the most closed-minded, arrogant people are the ones that will tend to accuse me of being closed-minded and arrogant. In psychology, they just call this self-projection, but it's very obvious that, you know, you can call it whatever the fuck you want. But it's interesting. I was inspired to make this video just now because, you know, I was talking to, actually the guy I was talking to, hi David, just is watching right now. But I was talking to my friend Dave, and you know, was telling him what an arrogant piece of shit head up my asshole I've been about acupuncture, but that I've heard so many good things about it that maybe it actually isn't scammy. I've never done it. I have nothing to experience from it, but it's just like, you know, my friend Dave was telling me about like, oh, I've been to doctors and chiropractors and blah 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 blah. And then I went to this acupuncturist. He figures out this one muscle isn't firing, and in 2 sessions, all of a sudden back to normal. And it's just like, it's interesting, right? Where I remember I've had these conversations with people, you know, about transformational coaching. And it's like, yeah, you'll get more in, say, about 6 days of coaching than you will from, you know, 15 years of reading personal development books. But the amount of fucking idiots that will spend, you know, hundreds and hundreds of hours doing like, you know, self-awareness training and reading books and trying to learn shit, when it's like, dude, you can get fucking like 3 to 6 days of coaching and get 100 times more of the results. And people are like, well, no, that sounds scammy. No, it sounds like a cult. And it's like, fuck you. It's like, I don't have fucking time for your just like low-level bullshit. Like, go jerk off with like a bunch of, you know, low-level losers like you who are just going to be closed-minded and make things wrong with no experience to back it up. And, you know, I always tell people, I was like, look, I cannot promise you results from just the forum, even though most people tend to generally like the forum. But if you're like a high-level person, I don't know how much you'll get out of that. But if you do the forum in the advance, yeah, you will be ahead of 99.99999% of your peers. It's almost impossible to get to that point on your own. But the amount of people who for 10 years will be like, well, that sounds stupid, or that sounds like it takes too much time, or that sounds like it's too quick, you know, it takes me a lot longer to do stuff, or that's not how I process things, whatever. And they have no idea, right? Like they're clearly so out of that game, but they've done Tony Robbins, and they've done NLP, and, you know, all these different trainings and techniques, which is fine. It's actually, there's a lot of great Tony Robbins, I think, a brilliant guy, so I'm not even bashing him, but that's not, you know, that stuff is not transformation. That is not having access to the self. That is not getting not your body and not your personality and all that shit. So it's really interesting how, but of course the people that accuse me of arrogance or closed-mindedness are the ones that'll be like, well, you think that Landmark's the only way. It's like, really? Because I've done like 9 million other things, and I'm pretty sure that Landmark is not the only transformation game in town. But I can tell you that from the forum and the advanced course in 6 fucking days, there's not many other things that will get you those results that quickly. There are things that will get you those results. It just might take a little bit longer. But there's lots of cool shit out there. So I don't ever have it that it's the only way. I don't look at it as something as good or bad, or it's right or wrong. It's just, does this work or doesn't work? And I will tell you that people who do the curriculum, especially, you know, doing the forum in the advance, and yeah, the SELP too, but just the forum in advance itself, yeah, it works. It fucking works. It has, you know, close to a 99% success rate. I know the forum alone has about a 94% success rate. The one caveat though about the forum is that it gets you to this sort of place of, you know, nothingness, kind of gets you emptied out in a sense. It gives you access to self. But the amount of people that I have seen, they do the forum, they're all, you know, they really get it, and they're like, wow, I really start seeing this, I think blah 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 would be great to do the forum. They go back into the world, back into their old environments, and they get re-brainwashed again, and they go, well, you know, I guess I really didn't get much out of the forum, or, well, you know, I mean, it was good, it was some interesting stuff, some interesting concepts. It's like, do you not remember what you were like that day of? Do you not remember how moved you were by shit? Do you not remember the possibilities that we were seeing? And it's almost like their brain doesn't remember. It's the fucking weirdest shit. But I've come to the conclusion over the past 12, 13 years now, since I've done that that you really need to do the advanced course after the forum. And now it's like, oh wow, this is why they say, do the advanced course within 6 weeks of doing the forum, because it doesn't give yourself enough time to fill your emptiness back up with sort of the old patterns and the old shit again. Now it's you choosing to fill up your life with sort of these new created patterns, this new way of being that's your invention, as opposed to putting it back on you. So, not to say there are people that do the forum and then they, have a good experience and that's it. But in my experience, it's at least from the people that I have anecdotally seen, so I am biased because it's just my experience, but from what I have personally seen, the forum itself is reliable short term. It's kind of reliable long term, but people then forget. It's like the brain destroys the possibilities. But if they also do the advanced course, and especially do it shortly after, it really solidifies that. And then they're literally creating that lived out future, and 5-10 years later. So it's just interesting. And I use Landmark because that's one of those things that tends to, people who are really trapped in their own identity and really don't see possibility, it's just gonna really fucking threaten them. But that's anything. There's a new possibility. Go tell a homeless person on the street that, hey, you can get out of poverty. And while they say they want to, the amount that will not take the opportunity, not take the resources you offer them is staggering. And then that's, you have that whole cycle of poverty, which is a whole, there's people who specialize just in that. Take a look at someone who's really, really shy and say, hey, you don't have to actually be shy. They'll be like, well, that's impossible. Yet they'll then complain about their shyness. So, there's actually what people say they want, and then the actions are taking to what they really want. So yeah, if you've never actually experienced something, and you're just completely invalidating it, or, it's not even stupid. It's just like a waste of time. It's like, it's so uninteresting, especially with the quality of people, in my tribe, in my communities, that it's just like, why would I waste my time with someone who's going to be so on it about really cool shit? It's just like, get a life, and go, if you want to go spend time with other people who are going to be judgy and complain about shit and have all your opinions and assessments from something you've never fucking experienced, that's great. But it's just always when people are like, well, I disagree with it. That's like, well, do you disagree with the color purple? Because you literally just sound like a blind person who's never seen the color purple and be like, well, that's an interesting concept, but I disagree. It's like, wow, you literally sound ridiculous. So anyway, if you want to go disagree with the color purple and be blind, congratulations. You're not interested in talking to you, at least about that, because like that conversation is a total fucking waste of my time, and quite frankly just like a waste of someone's humanity. It's like, you're on the fucking planet, like you were put on this fucking earth, you won the ovarian lottery, as Warren Buffett would say. Like, you have a 1 in whatever trillion chance of being born, and there's a statistical way to figure that out, and you're gonna waste your life like disagreeing with the color purple instead of being like, oh, I wonder what it's like to have eyesight. And then once you see purple, you can have whatever fucking opinion you have about purple. Like, look, if I like the color purple. You don't have to like the color purple, but we can both experience purple. And you can choose to paint your car purple. You can choose not to paint your car purple. But if someone was to be like, well, I think purple is wrong, or I disagree with it, or I don't believe in purple because you've never seen a color before, well, just explain to me purple. I'm a blind person. Let me just read the book. Give me the Braille book about purple so I can understand it. And then when you can't explain it, they'd be like, well, you're just using lots of color jargon. You're clearly brainwashed. It's like, holy shit. Maybe you just can't fucking see. And if you just got eyesight, then you can come to your own conclusions about stuff and use colors the way you want to use colors. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. It gets kind of obnoxious, but this conversation I had today about acupuncture was like, wow, it's interesting that all the people that accuse me of being closed-minded and arrogant are probably the most arrogant, closed-minded people I've ever met in my life, right? You become what you resist. Whatever you resist persists. So if you're going to accuse other people of being closed-minded because you just don't fucking understand them, then shut the fuck up. All right, hope you have a great day. Bye.